Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone of the USA. It's time for the DX Engineering Manufacturer Showcase. Today we have Jarrod, AE5LG. Jarrod works for MFJ Enterprises, which has 6 different lines of equipment. And if you're like me, every shack that I've ever been in has a product from MFJ. And they've been around for almost 50 years. Or I guess they have passed 50 years, actually. They did have a celebration. So over 50 years, K5FLU and the team of talented people down in Mississippi have been making amateur radio equipment. Welcome, Jarrod.
Well, thanks for having me.
And great to have you here. Jarrod, I think you brought some new products to show. So let's get started on what you've got there, Jarrod.
All right, sure. Let's take the smaller things first, just for simplicity. So this is an auto transformer in a box. Very simple. Connect the radio here, connect the antenna here, and you can switch it from bypass to low step up and step down. The idea of this product is not to be an antenna tuner in a box. The idea is to help you bring, say you have an unruly antenna that your tuner just can't quite match. What the auto transformer will do is it will let you transform the antenna's impedance down to something that your tuner can match. For example, a lot of commercial radios these days with internal auto tuners typically will only match maybe 3 or 4 to 1 compared to a benchtop tuner that can match some of them up to 15 to 1. With the auto transformer, you can bring that match into
We're on here today with Jarrod, AE5LG from MFJ, and they actually had a power trouble down at the plant yesterday, and may still be having some power problems. And I'm sure Jarrod will be back with us here shortly. And want to say good afternoon to KC3QKJ. And 2 Echo 0 Radio Echo Echo, Andy from England. And greetings to Ray, N9JA, and also Papa Uniform 1 Lima Mike November, and W7 Juliet Echo Tango. And we also have, see, our friend Greg, NC7B, is on from Arizona, and Dino, KL0S, and Luis, Kilo Papa 4 Lima Radio is on with us today. So we're waiting for Jarrod to come back on with us, and we're going to see and hear more exciting things from MFJ when he joins us. I can tell you that band conditions seem to be pretty good. Was on 160 meters last night, and made a lot of QSOs over in Europe, and worked a new country, 7Q7 Radio United in Malawi. And so that was exciting. There's a group over there operating, and they were on 160 meters, and right at their sunrise, which was at 10 o'clock local time here, 03 Zulu, right at their sunrise, they had a nice peak, and several stations from North America worked them. So it was really good. We also have 4 Zulu 1, I believe that's India Juliet on with us. And oh, I'm sorry, 4 Zulu 1 Juliet. Richard, nice to see you. And we have Tony, November 2 X-Ray Juliet Sierra, and Kilo Golf 5 Oscar Kilo Fox from Baton Rouge, and our friend Reinhard from RF Kit, Delta Hotel 3 November Alpha Bravo, and India 4 Oscar Queen Alpha is on with us from Italy. So lots of good stuff there. 40 meters was very quiet last night towards Europe. I had to make sure that the antennas were hooked up right. When I would point the Yagis at Europe, the S meter was sitting at S0, and it was really quiet. So maybe we'll get some good conditions for this weekend for the ARRL sweepstakes phone contest, which will start on Saturday afternoon and go till Sunday night. And here we go. There's Jarrod. Okay, Jarrod, you were talking about the new auto transformer.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so as I was saying, the auto transformer isn't intended to be a tuner. It's not going to replace any of the tuners you use in your shack. It is intended to help you transform high impedance, or let me rephrase that, very mismatched antennas into a range that your current tuner can handle. Moving on, this is a QRP tuner with a little watt meter / SWR meter. The whole thing, as you can see, it's only about 4.5 by 5 inches, weighs maybe 1.5 pounds, and can handle up to 20 watts. This product is intended for people that like to do things like parks on the air, summits on the air, any sort of portable QRP application, because it'll fit in just about any backpack. And it's fairly efficient. I've used it to make some contacts myself during the testing phase. And for convenience sake, we've included some binding posts. If you want to do anything ladder line or just bare wire, you're not stuck just trying to use the BNC connectors on the front of the product.
So, Jarrod, what kind of power can that tuner handle?
I run it at 20 watts, just fine.
Okay, and
I wouldn't go much higher than that.
What is the MSRP on it?
I don't have that right now. I'm not sure if it's gone live yet.
Okay, all right. What model number is that?
This is the, if you can see it, MFJ 9219.
9219. Okay, very nice. And that'll match coax feed, single wire, balance line.
Right. So the input is coax on a BNC. The output either be coax on the other BNC, or it can do balance line or single wire.
Okay, very good. That looks like a great tuner for some of the popular QRP rigs that are out on the market. So that should be a really good product. What else do you have, Jarrod?
All right, I'm going to switch you to so that I can show you some of the larger items. All right, can you see the table?
Yes. So we also have on with us today, while Jarrod's getting that sorted out, we have W1 November Papa Echo, and the tall guy's on with us. John says, good afternoon, Tim. The KDKA special event is going along very well with many pileups. And that's from K3STL. All right, Jarrod, there you're back.
Yeah. There we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start at this end of the table. We've been getting a lot of questions about this guy. This is one of our new updated box fan antennas. The whole thing, fits in a 3x3 square, has feet on the bottom. You can prop it up on a park bench. It also has a tripod mount on one of the sides where you can stick it on a heavy tripod. I wouldn't recommend a light tripod. It might not work so well, but a good, strong, heavy one should do just fine. This particular one is the 1783, and I'm going to pan around the side so you can see it's only about 4 inches thick not counting a little window for the butterfly capacitor. So this thing will lay flat in the back of your vehicle and be very convenient to transport, especially when you fold the legs back under. We have two models, the 1783 and the 1784, and the big difference between them is that the 1784 can get down to 40 meters, but it can't get to 10 meters. The 1783 will get you 10 to 30 meters, but not 40.
Okay. How much power will that take, Jarrod?
We're rating it at 150 watts.
Okay.
Conservatively.
And how do you tune it? Does it work on both the CW and phone segments of the bands, or how do you move the tuning around?
It does work on, it was designed to cover all sections of the bands that it's rated for. And it's controlled, I didn't bring one with me, but there's a little controller box that ships with it, and it injects the DC control for the capacitor steering motor onto the same coax that carries your RF, and then they're separated out inside the antenna.
Okay. And any idea when this will be available?
These are already in production.
Okay, they're in production. Great.
Yes.
And
so
and the model numbers once again, Jarrod?
The MFJ 1783, that's the 10 to 30 meter version. And then the MFJ 1784 is the 15 to 40 meter version.
Okay, great. Well, that should be very popular with people going to parks and parking lots and things like that. So that is super.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
What else do you have there, Jarrod?
We'll take a look at these two pieces of metal right here. These are two antenna mounts that we designed recently. The one on the right, let me zoom in here where you can see it, is the MFJ 1912, what we're calling the portable antenna mount. And the idea is that you lay it on the ground when you get to your destination, and you park with one of your car tires right here on this section to provide support. Then you mount, as I've done in here, a mast that you can then extend. And I've used it with one of our infed antennas at a day in the park event we did here a couple months back. We had some extra real estate on the top, so we decided to stick in some other connectors that you may find useful if you want. Got binding post for wires and ladder line, NMO, a couple of 3/8 by 24, and SO239 barrel. You don't have to use them all, but they're available if you need to put extra antennas on it.
Yeah, very nice.
The one next to it is a mast base. So we got to thinking about putting up portable mast. And really what you need at the base is something to keep it from skittering around. So we figured we could make a small, that's a square foot base with some holes in the corners, like so. And if you put some stakes in there, it'll keep the base of the mast fixed where it is. Now, you still have to guy it, obviously. But for field day, we put one of our heavy mast in there and stuck one of the large Cushcraft loop beams and a dual band 2 meter 70 centimeter beam on top of a rotator for our VHF station. And once we had it guyed, it stayed put the whole night.
Yeah, that's very cool. What are the model numbers of these two?
Okay, the one on the right, the one you drive on, is the MFJ 1912, and the one on the left is the MFJ 1914, and both of these are already up on the website, so they can be ordered right now if you wanted.
Okay, very good. Those look excellent, Jarrod. What else do you have to show us?
All right, so keep working my way down the table. Let's move the transformer out of the way. This, some of you may be familiar with the Ameritron RCS4 antenna switch.
Mm-hmm.
This is the MFJ version of it.
Oh, okay.
Instead of having that big box, we fit it into two of these smaller boxes. And the important thing about it is that we're rating it legal limit, 1,500 watts. And it has been tested that high. The SWR match across it is very good, all the way up to 50 megahertz. All the way up to the top of the 6 meter band, I meant to say. And the nice thing is, you can see my hand here. The control box is very small. In fact, it's small enough, we ended up having to put a lip on the faceplate so that you could stick it down and keep it from flopping over once you connect coax to it. The outdoor unit is designed to mount pretty much just like the old RCS4 with your coax hanging down like an octopus. But this was intended for people that were space constrained on top of their workbench. If your workbench looks anything like mine, space is at a premium. So this has much smaller boxes to use.
And the control voltages are done over the coax. Is that right?
Yes, the control voltages are done over the coax. One thing about this model, it does not use the standard 12-volt DC power supply. It uses a 12-volt AC power supply that ships with it.
Right. Okay.
You can run it with a DC power supply, but you won't get all four positions.
Yep.
You only get the first three.
Got it. All right. That looks very interesting. And is that in production, Jarrod?
It's close to it.
Okay. All right. That's great.
Okay. Next product. We'll clear that out of the way. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the 1204 sound card interface that we sell. One of the things I've done recently is to update it. Completely redesigned board, new sound chip, and in my opinion, one of the more important things, it uses a standard USB-B connector on the back instead of having that hardwired cable hanging out.
Right.
So these are going into production very soon. As you can see, I've got it hooked up to one of our G90s here, monitoring the PSK region on 20 meters. It died a few minutes ago, but there was a guy in there recently, and I've made several contacts using this interface from here. We're kind of excited to get this one out because, you know, it's an update to a product that we've been making for a while, and it's got a lot of different things that we've been hearing people ask for, specifically a way to remove that cable.
Yeah, very nice. It's nice and compact, Jarrod. So this is not in production yet?
Parts are on order.
Okay, parts are on order. Okay.
One of the things sorry, go ahead.
Does it do more than just PSK? Does it do FT8 and FL Digi, etc.?
Yes,
okay,
it will.
Great.
I just have FL Digi PSK open for simplicity, but it does do FT8 and WSJTX and all those things.
Okay,
the computer still sees it as a sound card, just like the old 1204 and the Signal Links and other products like it.
Okay, great.
It's designed to use the same radio cables from the old 1204. So if someone buys one and they have some cables from the other one and the jumper boards, they don't have to buy new jumper boards. They can just move them over to the new unit.
Oh, that's great. Very cool. All
right. So looking behind the laptop, the thing that's actually running most of my parts here, this I am tentatively calling an MFJ 1146. Number is not quite set yet, so we'll see. But basically what it is, we took the filter, the DC filter that we sell, the number escapes me at the moment, and stuck it in a box with our power pole and binding post distribution circuits. And so what we've created is a distribution box that is RF filtered. So if you are living in a house that has a lot of noise in it on your power that's getting into your radio, using one of those can help you cut down all of that. One of the features I added this time are the LEDs. So
Yeah,
the
that's
LEDs
nice.
light up when the circuit's complete. If the fuse dies, that LED goes dead. So
Right.
you can tell at a glance which of your fuses are working. Now this one this is the master fuse. If it dies, the whole thing goes dead. So no lights.
Yep.
But since these are all in parallel, if one of those goes out, you can tell at a glance which of your fuses needs to be replaced.
Yeah, that's nice.
Little convenience factor. All right, and finally, the big one that we're going to start pushing here soon. This, despite the funny mount it's sitting on, is a mobile antenna. The idea was, instead of having a traditional screwdriver antenna where you have the coil that moves up and down with the motor, instead, what we have inside the tube is basically the variable inductor half of an auto tuner. So between those inductors and the natural capacitance of the antenna, you can tune it just like you would a screwdriver, except without having the moving parts that will eventually fail. The only things that move in there are the internals of the relays. Down here, we have one of the control boxes. I don't know how well you can see that.
Oh, very nice.
The 1669. There are currently two versions. There's a 10 to 40 meter version and a 10 to 60 meter version. And so, I don't know if you can hear them, but you turn the knob and it steps through all the relay settings, and you can program 10 different memories. So once you find a setting that works for a frequency you want, you save it in the memory and can go right back to it.
Nice. Yeah, very nice.
So this one, we actually have a patent on.
Oh, that's great. And so, Jarrod, is this in production currently?
Not quite, but it's close.
Okay. And what's the overall length of this antenna?
So I've got it collapsed to fit in the room, but that's an 8-foot extendable whip on top of, I would call that an 18-inch tube.
Okay. All right. And how much power can it take, Jarrod?
It's rated for 100 watts.
Okay.
I believe.
Very nice. Well, it looks like you've been busy down there.
I can't take credit for doing all of these myself, but I've done a fair number of them. And yes, we have been very busy.
So we're on here today with Jarrod, AE5LG from MFJ, and we're talking about some of the new products that MFJ either has introduced or will introduce soon. And if you have any quick questions, we've been on now for almost 25 minutes, and I know Jarrod needs to get back to designing more cool stuff, but if you have a question, put it in the chat area, and we'll see what we got here. Let's see, Papa Echo 2 Kilo, he says he likes the new auto tuner, so that's cool. And we have a few other folks talking about the low noise on the bands last night. We'll see how that pans out tonight. And it does not look like we have any questions. So, Jarrod, I want to thank you very much for coming on and for all the great ideas and products that you guys are bringing to market, and the support of amateur radio. Please give our best to Martin and Phyllis and Richard down there. The rest of the gang, just a tremendous group of people, and we certainly appreciate selling your products.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, and glad I could introduce you to some of the new things that'll be coming out the door here in the next couple months. And y'all have a good day.
Okay, well, we look forward. Hopefully, we will have Hamvention in May, so hopefully we'll get a chance to meet you down there, and by then you ought to have another boatload of new products to to show as well. So thanks again, Jarrod. And so 73 from DX Engineering.
All right, 73. Thanks.